Hey, welcome back to CodeVista. We're so glad to have you join us again for another exciting journey into the world of programming. Whether you're a complete beginner or someone looking to brush up on your skills, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a fundamental concept that every programmer needs to master: repeating tasks in Python using loops. Now you might be wondering, why are loops so important? Well, imagine you have to print a message 100 times or process every item in a list, or maybe you want to automate a repetitive task that would otherwise take hours to do by hand. That's where loops come in. They're like your personal assistant in the world of code, tirelessly repeating actions for you so you can focus on the bigger picture. In this episode, we'll break down the basics of loops in Python, explore the two main types, for loops and while loops, and show you real-world examples of how they can make your code more efficient, powerful, and even fun to write. We'll look at how loops help you avoid writing the same lines of code over and over, and how they can help you solve problems faster and with fewer errors. By the end of this chapter, you'll not only understand how loops work, but you'll also be able to use them confidently in your own projects. So grab your favorite text editor, get comfortable, and let's unlock the power of loops together. Ready to level up your Python skills? Let's get started. Imagine you're sitting at your computer, faced with a task that needs to be repeated over and over again. Maybe you want your program to check for new emails every second, or perhaps you need to print out the numbers from 1 to 100. Without loops, you'd have to write the same line of code 100 times, which would not only be tedious but also make your code long, hard to read, and difficult to maintain. That's where loops come in. They're one of the most powerful tools in programming, allowing you to automate repetitive tasks with just a few lines of code. Loops let your program do something again and again, automatically, without you having to write out each step. For example, instead of writing 100 print statements to display numbers from 1 to 100, you can use a simple loop that does the job in just a few lines. This not only saves you time, but also makes your code cleaner and easier to understand. But the power of loops goes far beyond just saving time. They allow your programs to react to changing information, like checking your inbox for new messages every second, or processing a list of thousands of items in a fraction of a second. Loops are essential for handling large amounts of data, automating repetitive tasks, and building programs that can adapt and respond to the world around them. Whether you're building a simple calculator, a game, or a complex web application, loops are the backbone that make your code efficient and powerful. By mastering loops, you unlock the ability to write smarter, faster, and more flexible programs. That's why loops matter so much in programming. They turn repetitive work into something your computer can handle for you, freeing you up to focus on solving bigger problems. A for loop repeats for each item in a sequence. Here, range of 5 gives numbers from 0 to 4. You can loop through items in a list or even characters in a string using A for loop. Let's dive deeper into how while loops actually work in Python. A while loop is a fundamental control structure that allows you to repeat a block of code as long as a certain condition remains true. Imagine you want your program to keep asking a user for input until they type a specific word, or maybe you want to count up from 1 to 5 automatically. That's where while loops shine. They keep your code running, looping over and over until you tell them to stop. The basic syntax is simple. You write the word while, followed by a condition in parentheses, and then a colon. The indented code beneath it will execute repeatedly, as long as the condition evaluates to true. For example, if you set a variable called count to 1 and write while count is less than or equal to 5, the code inside the loop will run, and you can print the value of count each time. But here's a crucial tip. Always remember to update the variable that's part of your condition inside the loop. If you forget, the condition might never become false, and your loop could run forever. This is called an infinite loop, and it can freeze your program. So, after printing count, make sure to increment it by 1. This way eventually the condition will become false and the loop will stop. While loops are powerful tools for automating repetitive tasks, handling user input, or processing data until a certain requirement is met, mastering them will make your code more flexible and efficient. Alright, so break exits the loop early, and continue while it skips to the next item. These are super useful for controlling loop flow. Indentation matters, and don't forget to increment your variables, or loops will never stop. Here's a fun example. This loop counts vowels in the word Python. Write a loop that prints even numbers between 1 and 50. Post your code in the comments. Today you learned about for and while loops, break and continue, and built a small project. Like, comment your solution and subscribe for episode 5.